Hi and welcome to True Crime, a channel dedicated to the dark underworld of criminal activity carried out by gangsters, mobsters, cartel leaders, and others. Let's get started. Alex Murdaugh, a discredited former lawyer, was convicted of killing his wife and son at their country residence in 2021 by a South Carolina jury. In less than 3 hours of deliberation, the jury found 4 defendants guilty of murdering Maggie and Paul Murdaugh on Thursday. Also, Alex Murdaugh was found guilty on 2 counts of having a weapon while committing a crime. He received a life sentence on Friday. What you need to know about the case and the 28-day trial that led to the decision is provided here. Alex Murdaugh. Who is he? The PMPED law practice, where the M stood for Murdaugh, was founded by Alex Murdaugh's great-grandfather. The 64-year-old University of South Carolina Law School alumnus is a member of a powerful legal clan with a long history in the lowcountry of South Carolina. The judge ordered that the grandpa portrait of Murdaugh, who passed away, be taken out of the courtroom where his trial is currently being held. Prior to being ejected from the firm and later disbarred in July of last year, the majority of his professional activity was as a personal injury attorney. Since his multi-million-dollar bond was not posted in October 2021, Murdaugh has been detained at the Richland County Correctional Center. He was able to see his 26-year-old son, Buster, who attended the trial every day, along with Murdaugh's brothers on the majority of days. Murdaugh is accused of several additional crimes that are not related to this murder case, including reportedly planning his own demise in order to receive an insurance claim. He is accused of approximately 100 financial offenses, including fraud, money laundering, tax evasion, and forgeries. On the witness stand during this trial, he admitted to several of these offenses. However, the legal process for the other counts won't start until the murder trial is over. What happened the night of the Murdaugh murders? On June 7, 2021, after 10 p.m., Alex Murdaugh made a 911 call from his home in Islandton, South Carolina, stating that he had discovered his son Paul, 22, and his wife Maggie, 52, dead. "I need an ambulance and the police now. My son and wife were just seriously shot on the route," Murdaugh informed emergency services. On the more than 1,700-acre property, he claimed to have discovered the couple out in the open near some kennels and to have checked on them both for breathing. Maggie and Paul were both found dead in pools of their own blood by responding police officers. Any reasonable person would have concluded they were dead, first responding officer Sergeant Daniel Green testified. Murdaugh was prompt in providing Green with a theory as to why this might have occurred, as evidenced by body camera footage from that evening taken by Green. The footage shows Murdaugh saying, "This is a long tale. He was in a boat wreck months ago. My kid has been getting threats, usually basic stuff, but he's been getting punched." That alludes to the boat accident in 2019 that claimed the life of South Carolina youngster Mallory Beach. A number of the other boat passengers were suing the Murdaugh family on behalf of Paul Murdaugh, who was purportedly operating the vessel the night of the horrific collision. What was the prosecutor's case? The prosecution team for the state, under the direction of Creighton Waters, portrayed a helpless Alex Murdaugh. They contend that Murdaugh was under enormous pressure due to his alleged decades-long financial misdeeds, which resulted in a perfect storm that drove him to murder Paul and Maggie in an effort to win sympathy and put a stop to inquiries into the money he's accused of stealing. In his final remarks, Waters added, "We couldn't bring you any eyewitnesses because they were killed. Yet, Maggie and Paul can speak for themselves based on human nature and common reason. Consider this in its entirety." One of the key pieces of evidence for the state is a video Paul took only minutes before he passed away, in which numerous witnesses claim to have heard Alex Murdaugh's voice. Despite Murdaugh's denials that he was ever at the kennels that night. Although being shot at close range, neither Paul nor Maggie displayed any signs of defensive wounds. Alex Murdaugh is shown in a Snapchat video that Paul also captured, wearing a different set of clothes than the ones he had on when the police discovered him the night of the killings. Although Murdaugh stated he searched the bodies of both Paul and Maggie for traces of blood, the earlier pair of garments have never been discovered, and the later set were freshly laundered, as one witness testified, with no blood on them. The prosecution's case also centered on persuading the jury that Murdaugh was a coward, who lied to hide his involvement in the murder and that he was desperate. People lie because they are aware of their wrongdoing. And as usual, he backtracks, pivots, and makes up a new falsehood when faced with evidence he can't refute. He is always lying to them, that much is certain, Waters stated. Instead of asking for the death penalty, the prosecution is asking for life in jail without the possibility of release if found guilty. On behalf of the state of South Carolina, Waters pleaded with the jury to convict Alex Murdaugh of killing his son Paul and wife Maggie, as well as having weapons in his possession at the time of the heinous crime. How did the prosecutor handle the situation? Alex Murdaugh is a victim in all of this, according to the defense, which was led by Richard Harpootlian. Murdaugh was commonly described as a family man who adored Paul and Maggie. Several witnesses stated, in response to questions from the prosecutor, that Alex Murdaugh always answered the phone when they called. Harpootlian told the jurors it's hardly plausible that he executed him an hour after the bonding Snapchat. Murdaugh's emotional response to seeing Paul's death is captured on camera during an officer's interview with him the night of the killings. "My son is standing there. I can see his brain, I can see it," he told the police. According to Harpootlian, law enforcement conducted a shoddy investigation that was only focused on Murdaugh as a potential suspect, since they were so sure of Murdaugh's culpability from the beginning. The defense regularly questioned any law enforcement witnesses about the procedures they followed and filed many petitions to try to have various pieces of evidence or testimony from Murdaugh's alleged financial crimes to blood spatter examinations excluded from the trial. The prosecutor team for Murdaugh tried hard to find weaknesses in the prosecution's case. Buster Murdaugh, who was Murdaugh's son, gave testimony before Murdaugh himself stood to defend himself. He denied harming his wife and children during his 2-day trial, although he did confess to lying about it and to financial irregularities. The defense presented a counter-theory claiming that 2 shooters fired the 2 firearms. They contend that the South Carolina Law Enforcement Division's biased inquiry is the reason why criminals are still at large. What had happened to the jury? The original Colleton County jury, which was made up of 12 regular members and 6 alternates, was reduced to just 1 alternate by the time the case was over, after several members were expelled for medical reasons, and 1 member was expelled for discussing the case in clear violation of the judge's order. The jury visited Moselle, the Murdaugh's expensive hunting estate, and the crime scene the day before the dismissal. Jurors could make out the shed size as well as the separation between the home and the kennels where Maggie and Paul were slain. Waters requested that the jury rewatch the police interviews during the closing remarks. The jury, which consisted of 5 women and 7 men, was not required to decide, but they did have access to all of the material. They finally reached a unanimous decision of guilty on all counts in less than 3 hours. It was surprising, according to Ricky Kleeman, a legal expert for CBS News, that the jury reached a verdict so rapidly. The jury did not request to see any evidence or hear any testimony again. One thing, according to Kleeman, was for them to decide within a day or 2 if they were going to convict Alex Murdaugh. It's a different matter to come to the decision within 3 hours. Although the judge in the case denied the defense's request for a mistrial, stating that the evidence of guilt is overwhelming, Kleeman indicated that the defense team may still decide to appeal. This was also a case that was very effectively tried on both sides, she added. The defense may have grounds for an appeal on a variety of legal concerns, she said. Thank you for watching another amazing video from our true crime team. Like, comment, and subscribe. And stay tuned to our next real-life true crime video.